In this video, we're going to talk about parallel and perpendicular lines and their slopes. Basically, there are two things that you need to know. So we say parallel lines, which we write parallel. Parallel lines have the same slopes. So, if I tell you that I have a line that has a slope of 4, whoops, that was weird. A line that is parallel to it will also have the slope of 4. If I have a line that has a slope of -8, a line parallel to it will also have the slope of -8. If I have a fraction, say it has a slope of 1/4, a line that's parallel to it will also have the slope of 1/4. So, if I gave you a problem that said, I want you to write an equation that passes through the point -2, 5, that is parallel to a line, line with a slope equal to 3, I'm just going to use my same pieces of information that I know. A line that's parallel to a line with a slope of 3 is also going to have a slope of 3, and I want it to pass through the point -2, 5. So I'm going to use my same equation that I did before. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1, where my slope is 3, my x value is -2, and my y value is 5. So I plug it in. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And remember, minus a negative is the same as adding the opposite, so my final answer is y minus 5 is equal to 3 times x plus 2. Okay, now we're going to change it up a little bit and let's talk about perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines are lines that cross at 90 degrees like this. And let's go, by the way, back for just 1 second. We talk about parallel lines. Parallel lines literally look like they never ever intersect. They look just like this. That's why we write them this way. So perpendicular lines are lines that cross at 90 degrees like this. Okay? And their slopes are related in the following way. Perpendicular lines, they have opposite, reciprocal slopes. So what does that mean? Opposite means change the sign. So if it's positive, change it to negative, and if it's negative, change it to positive. And reciprocal means you flip the fraction. So let me give you some examples. And we show perpendicular lines like this, by the way, with an upside down t. So if I had the slope, we're going to start with a fraction of 2/3. A slope that's perpendicular to it, because this is positive, it's going to be negative, and I literally take my fraction and I flip it over, so it would be 3/2. If I had a slope that was a negative number, say -1/4, a slope that's perpendicular to it, it now becomes positive, and I take my fraction and I flip it over, so this would be positive 4/1. And remember, any number over 1 is the number itself, so it would just be positive 4. Let's look at a whole number. Say I had positive 8. Okay, remember 8 written as a fraction is 8/1. So a slope that's perpendicular to it, because this is positive, turns to negative, and I take my fraction and I flip it over. -1/8. So if I go back to my same example that I did, we wanted to write an equation that passes through the point negative 2, 5 that was parallel to a line with a slope of 3. I'm going to have my same problem. Actually, let's see if I can do this. I'm going to take my same problem and I don't know if I can copy it. Oh, probably not. Okay, let's just do this. I'm going to take my same problem. I still want to write in my equation. My point was negative 2, 5. And this time, I want an equation that is perpendicular to a line with a slope of 3. So, a line that's perpendicular to a slope of 3, I have to take the opposite reciprocal of this number. Remember, this is 3 over 1. So the opposite would be negative, and the reciprocal, I flip my fraction, 1 over 3. And now I want it to pass through my point, negative 2, 5. So I use my plain old equation, y minus y1, my point slope form is equal to m times x minus x1. And I fill out all my stuff. So I say, okay, my slope is going to go here. My x1 is negative 2, that goes here. And my y1 is 5, and that goes here. So I write it all down. Y minus my y1 is equal to my m, which is negative 1/3, times x minus a negative 2. And remember, minus a negative is the same as adding the opposite. So y minus 5 is equal to negative 1/3 times x plus 2. And that's your final answer.